here today, I'm going to divide us into breakout rooms, okay? Because for everyone have the opportunity to talk, okay? So let me see. Marcia, can you help me again in the breakout room? Yes? Marcia, you're muted. I can't hear you. Marcia, are you alive? No? Perfect. Okay.
Sorry, what the question?
Can you help me in the breakout room? Can you guide the immersion there?
Yeah, but I think Robert is a facilitador here. No?
Robert, are you a host, Robert? I didn't know that. Yeah.
In the TALKNTALK? No.
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 Okay. So either way, I'm going to put Marcy there and Robert, you're both are going to the breakout rooms because you already know how it works. Okay, so let me put you guys in the breakout room. And then the new ones, you can stay here with me. We are 10 so far in the breakout room and 5 here. Just a second, guys. Let me put the ones that are used to answer the questions. Okay. 4, 5. Who else? Okay, perfect. So the breakout roomers, you can go there. Okay, you have already received the invitation. And the others, let's stay here and start with the questions. So let's start with the first one. When did you start to learn English, right? Because we're talking about English globalization and we are all here studying English, right? So when did you start to learn English? Flavia, when did you start?
I was thinking, I started studying English in this school, private school. I think it was 19, let me see, oh my God, 2019 or 2018, 28 or 18 or 20. I don't remember very well, but I think something like this, 2018 or 2019. It was, I started to learn English.
Perfect. So it's been like 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, but on the, oh my God, when COVID came, I think I stopped. I don't know. I didn't know this platform, and I stopped for two years to study English.
Perfect. Yeah. And you, Larissa, when did you start to learn English?
When I was a kid in the school, but just the basic. And I made a regular course when I was a teenager, I think 11 or 12 years. But I just learned the basic too. And here on TALKNTALK, I've been here since the end of 2021, I guess, during the pandemic.
Perfect. Nice. And you, Victor, when did you start to learn English?
Well, I have never started learning because I never attended to a course or a class and nothing else, nothing like this. And it came to me. When I was a kid, I started playing games and needed to translate the games. So I've been starting since 1995, 96, more or less.
Perfect.
This is the first time I started something like a course or a class, something like that.
Nice, nice. Hope you like it. Since it's your first time, hope you like it.
Yeah, it's been great.
Perfect. And you, Nathanael, when did you start to learn English?
I'm starting my studies in English about 3 years ago. So, but I started on TALK for a month, 2 months ago, but I was never constant. I mean, I didn't have a frequency of studies every week. you know. I hope this time will be more frequent in my studies. I hope.
Nah, it will. You're going to like it. I hope too, but I think you're going to like it. Nice, guys. It's nice to see that you've been studying English for a while. It can be like in games or in regular courses or anything, because I love English. It's my passion. I do it for my life. So I really like it. So it's nice to see that you like it too. So let's go to question number 2. Do you ever mix your native language with English when you are speaking? Because I don't know about you, but I do this really often. I don't know if it's because I'm an English teacher and most of my day I speak in English, or it's because I do that, but I mix Portuguese and English. What about you, Larissa? Do you ever mix your native language, Portuguese, with English?
Yeah, every time, because I prefer say a word in English to freeze, you know, to freeze the conversation. So I prefer to say a word or an expression in Portuguese to speak. I don't know how can I say. I forgot the words, but to talk, not to stop the conversation.
Mhm. Perfect. And sometimes we remember only a word in some language. There are sometimes I remember the word only in English, but we forget in Portuguese. And there are sometimes we forget in Portuguese, but we remember in English. We forget in English, we remember in Portuguese. It's always like that, right? Perfect. And you, Victor, do you ever mix your native language with English when you are speaking?
Yes, it happens all the time. And there is a specific word that's realize that I always say in Portuguese, realizei. Yeah, and then I remember that's not it's
False
how can I
cognate.
say false cognate, and then I always forget the what is the word in Portuguese for realize.
I
And it
forgot
happens a
the
lot.
word in Portuguese. You said that right now and I forgot. And I was explaining this yesterday, but I forgot the word in Portuguese. If I remember, I will tell you, but I really forgot.
I think it's percebi.
Perfect. That's it. That's it. It's different from notice. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you, Flavia, do you ever mix your native language with English when you are
Yeah,
speaking?
yeah, I am the same of you all. I think even in Portuguese, when I am talking English, for example, I even forget the word in Portuguese. My God, I always try to remember in Portuguese for ask for help, né? But I even, oh my God, my mind is blank. But I think it's normal. But when I am talking with someone in Portuguese, I remember the word in English, but in Portuguese I don't remember. My God, I think my mind is a mess when I study. I am studying. I've been studying because I think it's natural now because I
It's the
forget the
benefit of
name.
having a bilingual brain.
Yeah, my God, I forget the name in Portuguese. I remember in English, and when I am talking, I even forgot the name or forget the word in Portuguese. But I mixed when I went to Punta Cana, I mixed the English and Spanish because they doesn't speaking in they didn't speak in Portuguese, and I tried to speak in English, but if I don't remember the name of the English, I put Spanish. I did a mess there, but it's okay.
You did the Portugal with English, right? A lot
Yeah,
of languages mixed.
yeah.
Perfect. Ah, we need to
Can I say
communicate.
something? Oh my
Of
God.
course, because I know you were in Argentina, so you can
Yes,
say.
yes. I would say this 2 weeks ago, I traveled to Buenos Aires, and the guy from the immigration, he asked me some questions, and sometime I would answer yes, in English, but he asks me to in Spanish, and it's a mess.
That's the benefit of a bilingual brain. Just like I said, we remember things in a lot of languages. Like, for example, there was a time that a student asked me what was this name, the name of this thing here in English. And I already put it here because I knew I was going to use this example. And then I said to him, I forgot this name even in Portuguese. I don't know in English. I forgot the name. I know in English, but I forgot, and I forgot the name in Portuguese. And then I was thinking. It's stapler, okay, in English, grampeador in Portuguese, but I forgot the name. I forgot the name in both languages because that's a bilingual brain. We forget things in even two languages or even in one. So it's like this. And you, Nathaniel, do you ever mix your native language with English when you are speaking?
Oh my God, you talk very fast, more or less slower, please, more slower.
Ay,
My
sorry.
level in English is very basic.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No problem. Yes, this happens often, every time. For example, when I use the word então in Portuguese instead of word so, for example, but it happens every time. I believe it's normal when to learn English, you know.
Yes, it is. There was a time that I arrived here in my building and I said good evening to the guy who works here. He doesn't know how to speak English and he didn't understand a lot. But I explained to him that I was talking in English before and then I arrived here and said good evening. So we change things. It's normal. And it's nice, I think. I like this. Eu acho legal. E I would like to add too, gostaria de acrescentar também, that even if we don't want to do that, we do, because we have a lot of words in English that came to Portuguese, right? So for example, emoji is a word in English, but we use it in Portuguese, or like shopping mall, we use here only shopping. So shampoo, né? All those things you already know. So we use it in English, even if we don't want, né? Mesmo se a gente não quiser, a gente vai usar. So let's go to question number 3. How many people around the world do you think speak English as a second language? I don't know the exact number, but I know a lot of people do. So you need to guess, like how many people? I guess maybe half of the world, I guess, like 4 billion people, I think, because we have a lot of people who speak English as a native language too. So like who speaks English, I think 4 billion. And I am putting billions because we have India that speaks English like as a native language, and they have a lot of people there. So I think it's 4 billion people. And you, Victor, if you were to guess, how many people around the world do you think speak English?
I agree with you because I was thinking about India too, and it's 1.4 billion people there, so it's and plus the more for around the world. I think it's half of the world can speak English too.
Yeah, perfect. And you, Flavia, if you were to guess, how many people?
I think many people on China speak English too, né? My God. I think 2 billion. I don't know if the half of the world, because we have a lot of the other language, and I would say 2 billion. 2 billion.
2 billion.
People.
Perfect. Yeah. In the end of this question, I'm going to see the number and then we see who is closer. But okay. And also we have Chinese, né, that I think it's the second most spoken language in the world. So English, I guess, the first one, but Chinese, I guess, is the second. And you, Larissa, if you were to guess, how many people around the world speak English?
I don't know, but I believe less than half, like 30 or 40%. I don't know.
So numbers, please. I'm not very good with them. So 30% of 8 billion, it'll be, I need a calculator.
Yeah, I need to.
2.4 billion.
2.4 billion. Thank you. I am an English teacher. I don't know math. So I put 4 billion, Victor, just like me, 4 billion, Flavia, 2 billion, Larissa, 2.4 billion. And you, Nathanael, if you were to guess, how many people around the world do you think speak English? Nathanael, are you alive?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
The question, number 3, né?
Number 3, how many people around the world do you think speak English? I put here as a second language, but can be like, how many people speak English?
Okay. I have no idea.
But you can guess.
But,
Can guess.
but I think that in more countries developing, there is a tendency for people to speak a second language in countries developing. For example, in Europe, for example, the majority of the population, I believe, speak the second language. Unfortunately, in Brazil, it's normal. I believe it's about the question more cultural, but infelizmente in Brazil it's not as normal. I think that.
But if you were to put a number, né, se tivesse que colocar número, how many people do you think speak English?
It's very difficult, but in Europe, I believe 80%, but in Europe, in USA, it's very not 90%, but in countries, Africans, for example, it's about relation with developing in countries,
Of course.
In cultural Africans, I believe that it's the minority percent, because the question very difficult,
Yes. Yes. No, but it's for us to guess. I guessed 4 billion. Victor guessed 4 billion. Flavia guessed 2 billion, and Larissa 2.4 billion. And then I search here, and I have the exact number of people who speak English, and we have one who got like, I can say it's like certain, but it's the closer. And Flavia, you were correct. 2 billion people worldwide speak English. So 2 billion.
Exactly.
2 billion. Yeah,
Not
it's not
exactly.
exactly. No, it's not exactly, but around 2 billion.
But Nathanael brings up a curiosity question, because I have adopted in our country. How many people speak English? My God, I think it's low, né?
Yeah, here in Brazil,
Yeah,
really low.
people.
I think it's
Really low.
less than 5%.
Yeah, let me
Less
search
than
here.
5.
How many
That
That
people?
it truly speaks English. You're not just learning, that can communicate and start a conversation.
5.1% of the population aged over 16, they have the knowledge of English language. So like 5% of people here in Brazil.
It's so low.
Yeah, it's because
It's-
like the state doesn't support that. Like in public schools, the English is totally poor. So, and sorry, Victor, I cut you. Sorry.
No, it's just saying that it has increased, because when the last time I see it was 2%. And I think about how the things were changing, it will have increased, but not so much. But 5%, it's a great number, since we don't have support, like you say.
Yeah. I guess it could be better, of course, but education itself is not supported here in Brazil. They have other priorities. So it's a sad number. As an English teacher, I think it's totally sad, but that's Brazil. So let's go to question number 4. have you ever heard the terms Spanglish or English? English with H, like Hinglish. What do you think these terms mean? I don't think you have ever heard, but I think you can know what they mean because we use a thing similar in Portuguese for portunhol, right? So what do you think those things mean? Victor, what do you think they mean?
Yeah, I think I know English. It's English speaking by Indian people, because in my meetings on the work, as I work for software developers, I have meetings with Indian people, and the accent is very distinguished, and everyone can see when an Indian is speaking English. I think it's English, it's for Hindu English.
Exactly. It's like this. It's an English that is totally different, right? It doesn't seem like English because it's totally different because they have their accents as Indian people, right? And what about Spanglish? Larissa, you spoke a lot of Spanglish, right? When you were in Argentina. What do you think that means, Spanglish?
I believe it's a mix than English and Spanish, and talked by a Spanish native, not a Spanish native, but people who speak in Spanish. And I think it's very common in the USA because there are a lot of immigrants and family that I don't know, how can I say, it's an immigration. It's about the immigration, and I think it's very common in the USA.
Perfect. And you, Nathanael, have you ever heard these terms? What do you think they mean?
I believe it's related to the mix of two languages, in this case, is Spain English, for example, is about to mix in the Spanish and the English. English, for example, in Brazil, when we mix two languages, for example, Portuguese and Spanish, we say you talking in portunhol. I believe that.
Perfect. Perfect. And you, Flavia, have you ever heard these terms? What do you think they mean?
It's the first time that I heard, and like you said, it's a mix. I think it's a mix. Spanish and English, and in Hindi and English. The accent of Indian people. My God, it's so nice, man. It's so cute. I think they speak the accents from them. My God, I think it's so cute. Brazil, I think the accent is so, I don't like so much the accent from the people of Brazil, but your accent is so good, Jill.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I think your speak is like a native person, native English person.
Thank you. But I guess people think that because I speak fast. And people who speak English like every day, they start speaking fast, and it's like that. But thank you. It's a pleasure to hear that.
When I watch some video in English, I think it is similar. Your accent is similar for them. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's really nice to hear that. Thank you. So that was question number 4. And I would like to ask that I searched, and we also have the term Portuguese, like English and Portuguese. It's like we do here. Sometimes we mix Portuguese and English. So we do Portuguese, right? And then I think it's nice to mix those things. So let's go to question number 5. what is the meaning of globalization? Because the topic is English globalization, right? So what is the meaning of globalization in your opinion? Let's start with you, Larissa. What is the meaning of globalization?
It's a hard question to answer. I don't know. I think it's very common to use the same language to not just to talk, but to use in the softwares, and because I'm an architect and I use a lot of softwares in English, and I need to know the technical in English, and we can use to the dollar to make some transitions, and I don't know how can explain this in in English, but help me, Vitor, please.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I think globalization is we can exchange culture and goods and everything else. Like I was saying, I have a friend in Mumbai, India, and we talk and using the internet when we spoke a common language that it's English. So I think the globalization, it's the possibility to change, to exchange culture and goods and everything else. Like Larissa said, we are always using softwares that are writing in English, and they have no translation. More the most of the time that it doesn't have a translation. Like I'm seeing here, the Zoom doesn't have it's in English, and I haven't translated yet. So I think it's the possibility to exchange things, everything, most of the time.
Of course. I guess that's the main point of globalization, right? Because, for example, you said you have a friend in Mumbai, but you don't need to go that far. Here, I am in Minas Gerais, and I forgot where are you, but Larissa is from Rio, right, Larissa? And where are you from, Victor?
Minas Gerais.
Uberlândia, you
Uberlândia.
said that. But I am in Viçosa. It's far. Uberlândia is really far. Flávia é Pará, right?
No, Paraná.
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 Perfect. Close. It was close. Not close
Yeah.
geographically, but the word is almost similar.
Yeah.
And Nathanael, where are you from?
São Paulo.
São Paulo. So we don't need to go that far, right? We are, each one of us, we are in a different place and we are speaking in English together. So I think that's globalization. Even though we are, everyone is here in Brazil, I think it's also globalization between states, but globalization, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. And for you, Flavia, what is the meaning of globalization?
First of all, my two sons, Vitor, studied at Uberlândia, UFO.
UFO,
Yeah,
UFO, yes, it's the federal here.
It's a great city. I like it so much.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Globalization is like you all said, I think, is connection, spread. I think is related with, I don't know if internet, I think now is related to internet. And I think the mainly language is English, and because this, I think, like Vitor and Larissa need to talk in English with, and I think at the job, and it is a globalization because you are working here in Brazil from the company in the other country. I think globalization is all of the people can work at in the place that it's not in the country that she worked. And I think it's something like this, but I don't know, put this word in English. It's so hard to so hard to answer this question, but
No, it's
I think
not.
that's it.
No, it's not. You just need to think a little bit more, but it's not that hard. You have answered harder questions here, Flavia. So this one, it's easy. And for you, Nathanael, what is the meaning of globalization?
Well, it's the very question. Because talking very simply, I believe is about the integration between different cultures, integration between different cultures. It's more about the integration of social, economic, political, and cultural. It's more possibilities of exchange the Jews economics and the Jews culture between different cultures. Yes.
Perfect.
that.
That's true. Because we need to know that globalization is not only like culture, but also money, right? Because countries, they sell things to each other. So there's also related to that, economics, right? You mentioned something really nice. Né? Também tem essa relação com o dinheiro, né? Os países, eles conseguem ter esse commerce, né, between them because of globalization, right?
Yes.
That's
yes.
true. Perfect, guys. So let's go to question number 6. Why are many non-English speaking countries like Portugal, France, Brazil, etc., why are many non-English speaking countries starting to teach their children English at a young age? For example, I started learning English when I was 5. It was a young age. And I don't know why they put me there, but I was there studying English, so young. And then let's see, why do you think it happens? Why are non-English speaking countries starting to teach children English at a young age? So for you, Flavia, why are many non-English speaking countries starting to teach their children English?
I think because the future, we focus on the future of our kids. I always said to I always say to my children that they need to know another language, not just in English or I think German and French and Spanish is good for them to know this language, this foreign language, because the future nobody knows what will happen, and I think it's opened the door for them, and I think we see in this platform that oh my God, many people want to learn English because the job, and I think it is because of globalization too. The main language is English, and the others come, like my second son Iago learn French because he wants to go to Canada, and the second language there is French. I think the focus on is the foreign country. I think because we have a lot of opportunity if our kids or us learn another language is amazing way to know other countries and to travel and meeting people and make friends. I think it's because
Perfect.
yeah.
That's true. That's totally true. And for you, Larissa, why are many non-English speaking countries starting to teach their children English at a young age? But Larissa, before you answer, have you answered question number 5 or I skipped you?
I answered.
I answered. I was
I-
thinking that you didn't answer. So sorry, but you can answer question number 6. Sorry, Larissa.
Okay, that's okay. My parents always told me the importance to know another language, the second language, and know English to conquer a great job and earn a better salary, or just to travel. They always told me the importance to know English, and I think it's not common when they were a kid, for example, when my parents were a kid. And I grow up with my parents told me things like that, and I need to learn English to not I forgot the word, to don't get outdated. I think that's it. Ultrapassado. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Because everything nowadays is in English, right? So for us to not be outdated, we need to follow it, right? We need to learn the same thing. Perfect. And for you, Nathanael, why do you think are many non-English speaking countries starting to teach their children English at a young age?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have another to meeting,
Oh,
another
don't worry, no
meeting.
problem.
The question, I'm sorry, the question.
Number 6.
Number 6. Yes. I believe it's the question. The question in to have more opportunities in the future. In English is the most spoken language in the world. in the ways social, in the ways cultural, in the ways economic. It's the fact. I think this reason is because parents seek better life opportunities for the children, to have more opportunities in the future, to have more opportunities in the job. I think that.
Perfect. That's true. Indeed, if we have English, I guess more doors they open, right? As portas se abrem mais, né? If we know how to speak English. So that's
Yeah.
true. For our jobs, it's really important. And for you, Victor, why are many non-speaking English countries starting to teach their children English at a young age?
Well, I think the others said it all, but I think it's because we have no distant barriers anymore, because we can trade with other countries, and like I said before, we can talk with people from around the world. We have opportunities, as Nathaniel said, and I think English, beyond from being common language in many countries, it's easier to learn and to speak, because English used to mix grammatical from many languages like Latin and German. I used to learn German. It's really hard, and we can't pretend speaking German. You speak or you don't speak. It's very hard. In English, we can I will not say pretend, but we can
Get by, I guess. Você pode se virar.
we can make our way speaking, and we can make ourselves being understand. I think
That's
this
true.
is it.
And in German, it's impossible to do that, right? I've never seen a language
Yeah.
with that many vowels. Não tem vogal, né, nas palavras.
Yeah,
deles.
yeah, it's
It's
only
crazy.
consonants.
Yeah, for me, it's totally crazy. I don't like German, and I love English. That's why.
Yeah, but in German, the problem is because we in English we don't have some phonemes.
Mhm.
English there's no strong phonemes to learn. Only the th and the. I think this is the only the main phoneme we have in English. This the th.
That is so different from Portuguese, right? The
Yeah.
others, they are similar. Yeah, that's true.
As we can say não, they don't have não in another language.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true. And usually, sometimes when I am teaching English, I try to write the word as we would say in Portuguese. And then my professors at college, they think it's an absurd because of phonemes. Because phonemes, they are different. Of course, a person who speaks English, they won't say like this. But I think for us, it's easier. I still do that, but they think it's wrong. But it helps.
Yeah,
So,
but
guys.
it has a phoneme structure that we can understand in many languages. As we say, you see in the dictionary, there is a how to speak in after the words.
Yeah, that's true. But there are some phonemes that they don't exist in other language, so it's hard
Yeah.
for us to know exactly the sound. Just like you said, no in Portuguese. For an English speaker, it'll be hard. That's why Americans here they keep saying now, de não, né? And I think it's funny. And that's also funny because we don't see this as a wrong way to say it, but if we go there and say something wrong, it's totally wrong, right? So that's also a kind of prejudice there, but
Yeah.
okay.
In Japanese, we don't have Ellie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, because my name is Flavia, né? And in Japanese it's Furabia. Not L and not V. Yeah,
And then you exchange the L for U and the V for B.
for B, Furabia. If I translate in Japanese, it was Furabia.
Crazy.
It's strange, man.
Yeah, furado. It seems like you are a hole. É como se fosse furo. How strange. Weird. Totally weird. So, guys, let me close here the breakout rooms, okay? Because I need to go to the final announcements because of our time, okay? And let me stop the